Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside West Virginia Politics. I'm your host, Mark Curtis. We are joined today in our first segment with Congresswoman Carol Miller, Republican of West Virginia, joining us from Washington, D.C. Good to see you, Congresswoman.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. I'm fighting a little bit of a cold here as we get into fall, but I'm okay. Listen, I've got to ask you first about the continuing resolution that included, for a time, funding, or not funding, but permitting for the Mountain Valley Pipeline, which goes right through your district. It got pulled out. It's not going to happen. What are your thoughts, and what do you think the impact will be on not having the Mountain Valley Pipeline completed, at least for now?
Well, it's been 94% completed for quite a while. And I don't understand why we stop our energy sources when we should be as energy independent as possible. And so this is just one more kick in the teeth to West Virginia and to our country.
There are some thoughts of putting it in the defense reauthorization bill later in the year because a lot of people relate energy production to national defense and getting natural gas to our allies in Europe. Would that be a good thing to maybe get this back on the front burner?
Well, it needs to be on the front burner, but, we've been struggling with it since Biden first took office, and we have to be energy independent. We certainly should learn from Europe what happens when you're not. And I don't like living off of reserves, quite frankly. They're there for a reason, but it's not just to power us. We need to be producing energy.
When you mentioned the phrase energy independence, it reminds me that last Friday you went to a rally in Pittsburgh led by Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who might well become the Speaker of the House if Republicans take control, and there's a pretty good chance of that happening. What is the commitment to America? I know energy independence is one of the pillars of it, but just kind of give us a brief thumbnail sketch of what commitment to America means.
Well, there are four very basic pillars. One is that we have an economy that is strong, fighting inflation. I've been wearing a pin for quite a while that say it's the spending stupid. We're spending money that we don't have, hand over fist, and America is really suffering. I don't know if you've bought a 2x4 or a sheet of plywood. Maybe you've been to the grocery store and bought milk and bacon and some of the other things, as well as at the gas pump. But it's time to stop the spending and put people back to work and to make us energy independent. The other is a nation that is safe, which covers a lot of issues. I've been to the border. I've seen how open it is, and in our state in particular, we have a sensitivity to opioid epidemic and drugs and what's the fentanyl that's coming through our border. It's criminal what is happening. So having a nation that's safe also deals with those cities, the urban cities people are just running rampant and stealing. Can you imagine having a mom and pop store that you've spent your whole life providing for your family and trying to get ahead, and thugs just come in and steal everything, and if you did anything about it, you'd be the one in jail. So we want a country that is safe. We want an economy that is strong. And we also want a country that's still built on freedom. And we just need to restore the people's voice in their government.
I want to ask you one last thing. We're down to less than a minute. The No Surprises for Survivors Act, a bill you introduced with two Democrats. This deals with rape victims, sexual assault victims being billed for some of their medical treatments, and you want that stopped.
Absolutely. I mean, the most horrific thing a woman would experience is rape. And so they should not have to pay to have a rape kit done on them, because that's part of the procedure for the police department to help them identify that they actually have been indeed raped and that they have the evidence. So to me, it's a very simple, easy thing to do, and that is to protect people who've already gone through a horrendous experience.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that bill as it moves through the House of Representatives and then on to the Senate. We want to thank Congresswoman Carol Miller, Republican from West Virginia, for joining us. Good to see you again, Carol, as always.